Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me again today for another card making tutorial, and we are using some products today to make this card. The feature really being how to create this background. So the colours I've used on this one are Sahara Sand and Starry Sky. So we've got the neutral sort of in the background to lift that. Don't know whether it comes through so well on the camera, but it's really nice subtle background, and then we've got that lovely bright blue accent. Isn't that a fantastic colour? It's really nice. Okay, so very nice and simple. Like I say, the emphasis is on the background and how you're going to do that. But so obviously this is really great. This could do for a boy as well, so I thought I would stick with using an in colour to make a more feminine version. So I brought out sweet sorbet to do the sort of accent colour, and instead of Sahara Sand I'm going to use smoky slate. So I'm going to do with the sort of grey pink kind of combo, whereas that one was sort of the brown blue combo. Okay, so that's what we're aiming for. So the sentiment comes from this set called Framed Occasions. Okay, so there's a couple we could use. In fact, I might even use one of the other ones. Thankful we are friends. That's nice, isn't it? Just to show that you can change it up. So I'm just going to peel off that stamp and substitute it. So our photopolymer stamps now have these printed inserts in the case. Doesn't matter if that's on wonky because we're going to be die cutting around it, so I'm not going to try and get that straight. I do keep the little cover just to help protect them a little bit from the dust and stuff, but it's just great that they sit in the case and you can just see exactly where they're going. It's very easy to see if ones are missing. Okay. Oh, there's a little spotty thing there as well, which could have which is kind of useful. I think I might have used that before. So yeah, Framed Occasions. The dies I'm going to use are called Stylish Shapes. So we've got stitched circles and squares, and then these banners. Okay, so I'm going to do something slightly different with the banners as well, because on the original card I used these two, which is super fine, and you get this very deep border, but I'm going to show you something different, and we're just going to have a little bit of peak of colour coming through on those. So those are the dies that we're going to use, so we'll get those done when we are ready. So the background then features these layering stencils. Okay, and I've put away the packet, which no I haven't. Where's the packet gone? These are there it is. I'll put it to one side for you, but it's called Artistic Mix Decorative Masks. Okay, so these are the two that we're using, and they can be used individually, one or the other, or they can be layered together like I've done on this card. All right, the other ones you get in the pack, I don't know if you can see through actually, will create like a gingham effect. Okay, so you get this one, cute squares, but if you lay them together you'll get a gingham effect. Okay, it's hard to imagine I suppose without the ink on it. And then as an additional we've got like these windows and apertures, and you get the little negative as well, so you could do it, use those two to create like an aperture sort of thing. But these are the ones we're using today. Okay, so as you can see, what I've done is I've used some of my small grid paper, which I totally love. It's a really great thing to have in your stash. It's just so convenient. So I'm going to use this more open stencil first, mask first. Okay, because I want the background colour to be in the background and then put the bright colour on top. If we were to go over the sweet sorbet with the grey, it would mute down the colour. So that's why I'm opting for that. Now, if you wanted a bit more of a muted look to the colour, then this would totally be the way to go. You could go, you know, something like Parakeet Party, or something like that, or one of the bright yellows maybe. If you didn't want it to be quite so in your face, you could do it that way, and then over mute it down with the background colour. Okay, so I've just positioned the mask onto this paper, just with some low tack tape, washi tape, whatever you've got. Okay, which sort of forms like a hinge, which means it holds it in place, but it means we've got the ability to just to peek underneath to see how much ink we've got on the cardstock. I'm going to use just the merest bit of Stampin' Seal on the back of that, and just take off some of the sticky, just to help me position this underneath the mask. Now, as I've already done this once, there is sort of an impression of where that cardstock sat, because I quite like to have it quite central with that pattern. So I'm just going to eyeball that and just have a look, try and make sure it's straight and even with the pattern around the edge. It can look a bit odd if the pattern's a little wonky in the background. That's not to say you couldn't deliberately do it wonky and go for something a little bit more abstract. So we're going to go with Smoky Slate, and we're going to use blending brushes to apply this ink. Okay, now it's a good idea to have a piece of scrap card or something which will help keep our fingers clean. So I'm just going to grab this rough piece of cardstock here and grab my blending brush that I use for my grey inks. The other thing I'm going to use this for is to take off some ink. So we want to go really nice and gentle with the background colour, because it is a background. We just want to apply some interest to the background. That's all we want to do. So I'm just going to go nice and you don't want to go over the edge of this, by the way, otherwise you'll end up with a harsh line across your blending. So it's just to help me hold that in place without getting in a mess, basically. So it's not going to look like you're applying much colour, but you'd be surprised when you actually go to have a look at how much ink has been transferred. I'm not going to worry if it moves a little bit. But like I say, I'm just going really, really gentle with the colour. We can always add more, but once it's down, you're pretty much stuck with it. So it's always best to just go lightly to start off with. Okay, I think we can get away with just a little more. It's particularly faint over here. So, and also we've got the stamped and die cut elements to go across the middle. So if the middle was a little bit fainter than the rest of it, then that wouldn't matter either. Ooh. You could put some tape on the bottom as well, just to help keep this bit in place if you wanted to. Okay. So like I say, you don't want to rub over the edge of your cards, that protective cardstock. Okay, so when I lift up the hinge there, hopefully you can see there's a lovely, nice, subtle background that's been formed there. So we're going to replace this mask with the other one. So again, because I've already done this once, I've got a register point, but again, just lay it down. I did find that it roughly matched the design, so it would be easier to line this up, the big apertures over the top of the little ones, if you know what I mean. But if you look carefully through the design, you'll be able to see those line up. That might be too faint for the camera to pick up, but I can, in real life, I can see where the ink's gone down on the cardstock, so I can lay this over the top and make sure it's all nice and lined up. Okay, so I'm just taking my time there just to make sure, but like I say, I've got some guidance because I have already made the sample, so that looks... Oh, my lamp is just shining off that, which of course is on so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Hope it's not glaring too much for you guys either. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. So that's picking up a bit of the light and everything, but hopefully it's not too distracting for the purposes of this demonstration. So let's just pop away our smoky slate just for a minute and bring our sweet sorbet in. Now this is going to be our sort of dominant colour, if you like. This is the one we want to shine through. So we want the colour to come through nice and strong on this. Okay, so we're just going to go for it and really apply that ink. Okay, that really good rubbing. Transfer that ink. So you want to make sure that your stencil's good and clean in between your projects. So what you don't want is to pick up residual colour from your previous project. So this one looks like it did clean up nicely, because otherwise that would look quite purple with the starry sky coming through. So you definitely want something to help you hold this bit down, because you're going to end up with really mucky fingers if you don't, basically. The red ink as well, you might look like you've been up to no good. Okay, so we're going, like I say, nice and heavy with the ink on this one, to make sure we get that really lovely bold colour coming through. And you can lift it up, have a quick look. Okay, got a bit of a migration there where the ink's possibly crept underneath, but you know what, it's fine. Okay, right, let's just pop that away just for a second as well. So what we do want to do is just wipe off any residual ink. Now I've got a really trusty little this is like a muslin cloth thing, which I find really great for clearing up stuff, and this is barely damp, you know, barely damp. You don't want it wet at all, because it's going to potentially bleed your bleed through to your cardstock, and this isn't watercolour cardstock. It's not going to be very happy if you apply loads of water to it. So it's barely damp, just to take off that residual ink. Okay, so you see bits come off there, and that means it's ready to go for next time. Okay, so we can peel that away, and we've got our lovely background there. So hopefully you can see, yep, there we go. Isn't that cute? Love it. Okay, so now all we need to do is make our focal point for the card with the sentiments and stuff. So let's get cracking with that. Okay, so we can probably safely get that stuck to the card base though, so let's just do that. And it's this point where you think, you know, if there's any bits that you would prefer not to see or something, or rotate it around, so I think I might have it that way up. So I don't mind if it a little bit bleeds here and there. It's just sometimes when you apply a lot of ink, it'll creep underneath the mask. So like I say, if you wanted to tape down the bottom, that would minimise that a little bit as well, so that's fine. I don't mind. Cool, so that's that. Rightio then, so let's bring out some scrap cardstock to stamp our sentiments. So we're going to bring in that sort of spotty circle and our sentiment. So sentiment is going to be in our sort of accent colour, if you like, which is the sweet sorbet. Just going to get my stamping chamois ready. So we'll do the sentiment. Just leave room to die cut. Straight down, straight up, and you'll get a nice clean crisp image every time. Just cleaning that off. Then we'll use the smoky slate to pop that around the edge, like so, straight up and down, or down and up I should say. Okay, so that's our lovely sentiment there. She's very cute, and like I say, we're going to use those the dies I have put down somewhere. There they are. Don't know what possessed me to put them over there, I'm sure. So I'm picking out this die that fits around that quite nicely, giving it a nice little border. So because we're trying to frame a stamped image, I'm just going to tape that into place with this low tack tape, and that's ready to die cut. And while we're at it, we can do our little banners. So I'm going to get the skinny one, which is the one that's going to run across the back, which is going to be in the smoky slate. So I've just got a scrap of smoky slate that we can use there. I'm going to use my larger machine, which means I can get more than one of these done at a time. And I'm going to switch to this banner rather than this banner to get a different look for the borders. So I'm just going to position those onto my cutting plate so that I can get all of those done in one pass. Like so. Not that you can see that, just got my die cut machine off to the side here. So I've just got those all on the plate so that they're not overlapping each other. So there's our sentiment. So that's all done. I'll keep that scrap of cardstock for something else. And I keep dies that I go to a lot. I keep on a magnetic sheet so that I can just grab them when I need them. Some smoky slate for that part, which that one goes there. Okay, and then this one, need to decide whether I need to cut another one or not. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that behind like I did before. In fact, let's just stick that down because it'll help us decide what's going on. Grid paper's also very useful for this kind of thing, making sure things are lined up. So I'm just going to use this to centre the banner, which I've just bent slightly, but it's fine, it'll be fine. And then I can use that to help me get that centered there. So what I want to decide is whether I need to cut 2 of these, because what I could do is cut this in half. Yeah, so if I cut that in half, it's going to be plenty, so I don't need to cut another one. So just grab some scissors and just cut that in half. Because it's the cut ends are behind the circle, you will never know. Okay, so we will pop some tape across the back of this. Oops, like so. And again, we can line up our little banner there on the grid paper. And decide where we're putting that, which is about there. We can do the same with this one. Try and get it as even as possible with the other side. And there. Okay, so no one's ever going to know that that's there, all completely hidden. And that just gives us a different look to that. So this instead of this big thick border, we've got something a little bit more subtle. Okay. Buried my dimensionals underneath all the bits and bobs that I've just put to one side. So I've just got some offcuts of dimensionals that are perfect for this kind of thing. So they can just pop across the back of there. And that'd be perfect. That's all we need to do is pop that on. Okay, if you want to have a little bit of wriggle time, pop some multi-purpose on as well. It'll just help you if you're trying to make a decision on where it needs to go. I don't think I did this on the original one, but I'm just looking at the pattern behind as well and trying to make that look like it's roughly even as well. There we go. Alright, so obviously we could bling this up a lot with whatever we wanted, even add some flowers and all kinds of things to that, but I just wanted this to be focus on creating these backgrounds for these cards. Okay, in 2 different colourways for you. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that and you'll get out those masks and have a go yourself. Stop by again soon, and I'm probably going to do one of the gingham ones as well, so I think that's going to look really cute. I think the parakeet party is going to look cute, maybe with the orchid oasis or something really bright and punchy, so I'll have a look, have a play with some colours. But for now, that's it. Thank you for joining me today. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Ta-ta!